And I'm Jacqueline, and together we are Harvey and Steele.
And we're here to make your business everything you want it to be. So today we're going to talk about 3 must-dos to identify your target demographic, your target audience, and your target buyer persona. Probably one of the most important things in running any kind of business or any kind of branding.
And something that should be done first.
Yes, before getting into anything else. So 3 must-dos, and we'll jump right into it. The first one is to identify your primary product or your primary service, the thing that your flagship, and to stand behind that. Find who it appeals to. Really take the time to sit down and map out who it is you're trying to reach with that product or that service. And then to create branding around that flagship for who you find that it appeals to in your research.
Yeah, and a few ways that you can conduct that research very easily is by getting out in your community. Go to farmers markets, test your product, test your service, see who really gravitates toward it. Go on Facebook, start asking people questions, see who responds. Get on Instagram, get on YouTube, and see who interacts with your product or service. Chances are they are going to be your target demographic, and there's usually some kind of common denominator, whether it's male or female, the age range that they're in, the type of interest that they have, etc.
Absolutely. And moving on from that, in the same breath, is to, once you've identified that demographic or range of demographics, number 2, to create a buyer persona. And that's a term that's being thrown around a lot in inbound marketing and that world, but it definitely is worth mentioning here. So a buyer persona is creating a fictional character like Steve the sound guy, or Bob the CEO, or Nancy the small business owner, and creating this fictional character and thinking about where do they hang out, what kind of languages do they speak, what kind of culture do they have, what age range do they have, what
kind of music do they listen to,
right.
What kind of food do they eat, what kind of social media platforms are they hanging out on. It's basically just like you would write in a story. You're creating a character and then getting very specific about who they are, what they're interested in, and then their buying strategies.
So more importantly, their challenges, their hang-ups. What is their greatest challenge today, and how do you solve those problems? Once you've created that very specific buyer persona, and do it for as many characters as you need to, but just start with one. And if you need to move on to a second one, that's up to you to distinguish that. But keep it around your flagship product or service, and keep it to as few buyer personas as possible. So start with one, and then chase them.
Yeah. And focus on solving their problem. And don't get hung up if your first try it's a little bit wobbly. Keep refining your process and then going after it again and again and again, because that's where you're going to find success.
Exactly. Test and move forward.
Test, move forward. Test, move forward.
Trim, grow. Test, move forward. So the third thing to identifying your target demographic and persona, and this is it's obvious, but too many people don't. Research your competition. See what they're doing, who they're reaching, and how. And there are a few key ways to do this. And it's exactly the same way as we just talked about with number 1. Get onto your competition's social media. See how they're engaging their audience and what they're saying, what kind of information they're putting out, how they are reaching these people, what their website looks like, and what it is they're trying to do to reach those demographics.
And then emulate the good things that they're doing in your own way, of course. You don't want to copy and paste stuff. But here's an advantage that you have. You see what they're doing well, and then you can decide how you can do it better.
Exactly. To differentiate yourself with your humanization and your specialization as to how you are specifically solving your buyer persona's problems and offering them solutions to their challenges. In the online world, there are a few great ways to do this. I'll throw out a few tools like spyfu.com, keywordtool.io. Google AdWords is a great place to start in finding terms and phrases and buzzwords that your competition is using to reach their target demographic in an online world, and seeing how they're positioning themselves to solve that target demographics problems and emulate, learn from, and improve on what they're doing.
Yes.
So those are our 3 for today. How to reach your ideal buyer persona and target demographic. I hope that's helped. Cheers, you guys.
Yeah. Cheers to growth and here's to the growth.
Here's to the growth.